Here's the updated video on hazard perception tests. We have a lot of people complaining that they can't pass the hazard perception test because of the graphics and what the system expects them to do in certain situations. There are a couple of things in particular where the system expects them to react correctly when, in my opinion, in some situations, the things should be considered as developing hazard rather than immediate hazard. Okay, so I think in Victorian Simulator, there's a situation. I think it's exercise number 5, where there's pedestrians on the left and on the right hand side, and there's no immediate risk. The people are just on the side and you can see them, but it expects you to hit the brake pretty quickly and pretty soon, and I believe that's wrong, and a lot of people find that confusing. There are other few things that people find confusing, such as night driving. If a situation is at night and you expect it to slow down to give way to pedestrian, or when you want to slow down for a bus or a tram in a situation in Victoria as well. It is a bit confusing sometimes, because in the office where you do the hazard perception test, sometimes the light is too bright, and if you look at the screen and it's a dark, it's a night situation, it's really difficult to spot the pedestrian. That's at least what people tell us. Those who call us. So let's check some of them. So this one is at night. Okay, so a lot of people say they can't see the pedestrian, and also sometimes they slow down a bit too early as soon as they see the pedestrian, whereas it expects you to react when the pedestrian steps in to cross the road. Okay, so let's play this one. So this time I'm not going to react, so it's going to be wrong. Okay, so I see the pedestrian's just stepped in and I didn't brake, and people find it difficult to see if the room light is too bright. So I'm going to hit play again. Okay, so this time I'm going to hit the brake as soon as it steps in. Okay, so that was correct. Also, we have people complaining if they do it slightly earlier, that's considered as wrong, and I'm going to tell you what it is, which is quite contrary to what number 5, I believe it's number 5, situation requires you to do. Okay, let's play number 4 once again. So if I do it slightly earlier, so I see him now and he's about to step in, but it's going to tell me that I reacted too early, which is not really, in my opinion, it's not too early. If I were to consider this as a developing hazard, I would have to be prepared. And there's certainly no indication when it says you should take your foot off accelerator or you should brake. It just basically says, you've got to react, So they should really define, reacting a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to close this one. I'm going to refresh the button. Okay, so now in this particular one, it expects you to do quite contrary to what just happened in the in exercise number 4, I believe it was. Okay, so see this one here. It's a broad daylight and you can see better, and I can already see the person here on the right hand side, and I can't see anything on the left. Okay, so this time I'm going to let it play and I'm not going to react. Okay, so you can see what's going on. So okay, playing it now. So there's a person there and there's somebody there as well. So okay, so they're waving, so you were supposed to hit the brake, or to slow down a lot sooner. So this is obviously, I didn't press a button at all. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to play it again. So see, this time I'm going to react when I believe I should, okay? But that's going to be too late, which people find really confusing, because this should be considered as developing hazard rather than immediate hazard, okay? Should pedestrians give way? Yes, they should. Obviously, there's no pedestrian crossing and you are not turning. By the way, when you are turning, you've got to give way to pedestrians regardless of whether they've got the pedestrian crossing or not. By the way, I can't change the speed, okay? So if you've got a speed there, you can't accelerate or slow down. Playing it now, I'm going to hit the button when I believe I should. So okay, so now that person's disappeared out of my view, but the person on my right is not even moving, so I don't understand why I reacted too late. Okay, so now in this one, in this attempt, I'm going to react at the time the system expects me to react. And as I mentioned in the last video on this topic and this particular exercise, a lot of experienced drivers and all of our instructors, when they did this particular one, they asked the same question: why would you slow down when they should give way? And obviously the person on the right hand side in the orange shirt wasn't moving at all. He was standing there and waving to somebody on the left side. Okay, so I'll play it now, and I'm going to do it when the system expects me to do it. Okay, so I'm playing it now. Okay, so as soon as that person appears, I would now have to do it. Oh, too early now. Jeez. Okay, let me try it again. See, this is certainly something that confuses people a lot. Okay, so I'm going to wait slightly longer this time. Maybe now. Yeah, okay, so it was just insignificant amount of time between, that I reacted now, between the first and the second time I did this exercise just then. They should take this one off. It confuses people. Everyone agrees with me. I also had a comment from somebody who says, it's not the people on the left. But hang on, the girl on the left was about to cross the road. The person on the right was standing. I mean, he stopped there and waves. Okay, now she's a risk here, obviously, but then we shouldn't brake too soon. Okay, so in my opinion, in this particular exercise, you should slow down roughly when the girl on the left disappears from your view. Okay, roughly around now. I believe that would be sufficient amount of time to slow down, and I was doing 40, so I can't change that. So at 40 kilometers an hour, at a distance of about, 30, 40 meters, I can slow down and stop that vehicle within less than 10 meters at 40 kilometers an hour if I wanted to. So I don't personally understand why this is, okay? So let's go to some other ones. Okay, what's number 9? Okay, so this one's easy, so we didn't have any complaints. So you have the sign, a wildlife, crossing, and let me see. Okay, so yeah, I could see the kangaroo. Well, that was too early, but I could see him. So I don't know why it was too early. So let's play it once more. Okay, so yeah, it's jumping right there. I can see him. Again, it was insignificant amount of difference in time when I hit the button first time and the second time. So really, they should make it a little bit better. So, and look, this time I was doing 79 kilometers an hour. So I don't understand how that was early, because kangaroo's not going to give way to me. That's for sure. I've seen a few that didn't give way to me. And if I didn't, do what I did, I wouldn't be standing here and explaining to you how to do stuff. Yeah, so, but what can you do? Okay, let's see what's number 2. Okay, so I'm not quite familiar with this one. Okay, so let's check what it is. I'm doing 60, obviously. So you're approaching an intersection. You might need to slow down, click to play, and then click to take an action. Oh, I do know. This is a set of lights where people get confused. You have priority, but the problem is a lot of inexperienced people, when they do this particular exercise, believe that you somehow need to give way to the turning traffic from the opposite direction, which, doesn't make sense really. Okay, so let's play. This time I'm not going to react at all, so you know what I'm talking about. So, okay. So, see, the red car is turning. Yeah, we know that, but look, they should give way. And a lot of times, I had a question by somebody who called last week, and he asked me, look, what's happening in that particular exercise? Shouldn't you sort of go first and they give way to you? Of course you should have priority, but the problem is the system doesn't explain here. Say, for example, if you did it correctly, just to have the little message to say, please note that you have priority if you're going straight ahead, but the developing hazard from the opposite direction was there, so you should slow down and see if they actually understand that they need to give way to you or not, and obviously to avoid the accident. But that doesn't happen. So people walk out if they say, passed or failed, but they don't know that. They should certainly change it, and they should put some explanations to say, well, you had the exercise that and that, which involved the car on that side and the pedestrians there. Please understand that this is that, and you know how it is, and the reason we did it that way to test your reflexes, but whatever it is, but people don't know after they've finished this what's happened. So a lot of people fluke it. They just hit the button and say, oh shit, man, I passed, I don't know how I did it, but I've got it. So that's not sufficient. They should change that. Communicating rules is more important than obviously just somehow going through them and getting away with things, because that can cost lives. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so let's refresh. Okay, so what was number 6? Okay, so this one was pretty straightforward. If you can't see the traffic from the opposite direction, now there should be a car, I believe. Okay, so now I can hit the button to overtake them. So, if you don't see what's coming from the opposite direction because of the sharp bend, don't proceed, okay, with your overtaking, obviously, because otherwise you're going to collide, So make sure that you've got a clear view before you commit to overtaking. Okay, so 7. Okay, so this one is a tricky one, okay? So this is in Victoria, and that's a tram. But imagine it's a bus or a truck or any type of vehicle for that matter. So what it wants you to do, you are driving straight ahead, you might need to slow down, click to play, and then click to take action, okay? So you're doing 50 kilometers an hour, residential sort of, or inner city speed. Okay, not considered as high speed. So, okay, I'm going to play it. Okay, so when I believe that the distance is decreasing, when it starts to slow down, I'm going to hit the button then. Which is roughly about now. Okay, too early, but it started to slow down. It was obvious that it was starting to slow down. And should somebody fail for doing this? No, they shouldn't fail for doing this. Okay, so I probably should have, reacted like 1/10 of the second later, which I'm going to do in a moment. Okay, so. Okay, so it was definitely starting to slow it down. Last time I hit the button about now, but this time I'm going to do it slightly later. So it would have been less than a second. So I don't know. They should really fix this. I'm not surprised that inexperienced people get confused about it, because a lot of experienced people do as well. Lack of clarity, what's considered in this test as developing hazard and what's considered as immediate hazard, okay? So that's something that you really have to sort of work out. But my best advice is ask your driving instructor if you are ready. I had somebody who called me from Queensland, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, and his missus couldn't pass it, 5 or 6 times. And I asked him, look, can she drive? Has she got enough experience behind the wheel? Because, put it this way, if you can't do it in real life, you're surely not going to be able to react properly in these exercises, despite the lack of clarity and, how they've actually designed all of this visually. So you've got to be able to drive well, and you've got to be able to, when I say well, you got to be safe behind the wheel, okay? You don't have to do everything perfectly with sort of military precision. Ask your driving instructor if they believe that you're ready to go and take a hazard perception test. That way, you're definitely going to have better chances. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to post down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.